This is part two of my reverse racism thing. So when I left off, my friend and I, we went into the library and we got about like 20 books, maybe more, maybe less. Don't want to exaggerate it too much, but I know we got at least 20 books. So we had some encyclopedias, some dictionaries, a couple of Native American history books that you can only really get in a college school. You can't really get in like high school or grade school or middle school, but in college, your library is your best friend, and it grows extensively in your knowledge. It it it's a joyous thing to know things. So we get all these books and we're reading them, and he goes, "Look, right here, Native Americans, Mongolian stock, land bridge, Alaska, spawn on down." Another book, same thing. Another book, same thing. Dictionary, same thing. Uh, Almanac of some sort, same thing. And I'm about to break into tears because I'm like, damn, that explains my grandma Ada, why she didn't look like me. That also explains why her eyes were so tight and slanted, and why my eyes slant up when I smile. And I was like, motherfucker. All this damn time I thought we were special. And we're just nomads from Asia who just didn't want to stay there, or we were following something or chasing something, and we spawned into this country and took over with an oppressive foothold of 1 million or billion strong, and split into millions and billions of tribes and got wiped out in no time at all by Europeans. So anyway, I'm reading all this stuff and I'm like, damn, dude, damn. And he's the son of a preacher, so I'm pretty sure he's really good at keeping the spiritual and the truth coming to me. And it was a big slap in the face. It literally woke me up. And I was like, okay, well, that explains why people keep saying I look Hawaiian or I look Mexican, because Native Americans are of Asian descent. And biologically, they are still Asian. Uh, Legally, they are not considered Asian. It's the same thing like with Hawaiians, who are also Asian. They are Polynesian, but like Samoa and Tahiti and Polynesia and Micronesia, they don't really count them as the same form of Asian that they would count the Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans, Vietnam, Laos, Indonesia, and Malaysia, which is kind of fracked up, but they're still Asian. And then if you go into India, the Indians with the dots, not the feathers, the ones that I don't come from, they are also classified as Asians, from India all the way to like Iran and Iraq and all those other. They're classified as Asians, not Europeans. So learning that just really blew my mind. It's like, oh, so we only have three human genomes. You have Negroes, Caucasians, and Asians. And the Asians, I'm not gonna come right out and say what they got it classified as. I want to explain it first, because they call them Mongoloids. And I was like, why the fuck would you call them Mongoloids? That's just horrible. But I guess it kind of beats being called Negress, because that's like their word for nigger back then, but it was Negress, and it was the scientific terms for Asians and blacks, which were Mongoloids and Negress. And then Caucasians would be whites. And that's got a whole other name too. I just can't actually pronounce it. So I'm like, well, damn. And there's technically three human beings, the human type species on Earth, and if four if you count people like me who are technically hybrids, because I am all three. And you sit there and you're like, wow, science is amazing. But then I'm like, my heart is totally broken, because here I was thinking, we got superpowers. We're from Atlantis. We can shapeshift and shit. Not like in the Marvel movies or the DC movies where we can breathe underwater because Atlantis did sink. But, for all medicinal purpose, everything that I was taught to believe was bullshit. No, because Atlantis. I don't understand why I was even thinking that back then. So then as I did more research, I learned that Mongolians have totem poles. Now Cherokee, we don't have totem poles. But up and down the western coast, those Native American tribes have totem poles. But as you go into like the Lakotas and the Pueblos and stuff like that, you get less totem poles. So as we splintered out, our traditions and our tribal rules and laws and stuff all changed. and each tribe had a rule and law and a guardian to itself. Everybody has a Sasquatch. Everybody knows Coyote. Everybody knows Thunderbird. Everybody knows um, the Deer Woman. And then it really depends on what tribe you hail from, or these myths and legends. And reverse racism, like I said, I didn't really have too many incidences from Asians or from whites. Most of my reverse racism incidents have come from black people. And I hate saying that shit because of the last two videos I made. It's just a ass-known fact that black people really hate black people. Black people hate black people more than white people hate black people. So any racist white person who hates black people, and they're on the same level as any black person who hates other black people. The main reason why blacks have had a problem succeeding in society is because of our hatred for ourselves. I'm high yellow on the color wheel, so I've been rejected by darker black people. Not all of them, but a majority versus a minority. And the same can be said for other things at the same freaking time. That there's more hateful and self-hated people than people who are willing to bend over backwards and help our own. And this is why we tend to fail more than we succeed, because self-hatred for black people, it is a thing, and it is an out-of-control thing that not only do we hate ourselves, but we hate other black people. And then I had some incidences from people who were from Africa. Now, let me clarify. I've known 3 good people from Africa. 4, Lewis and Amarai. And yes, I put your names out there because you are the best of what Africa has to offer. Alright? You're the best. You did not treat me like shit because I was mixed. You did not make me never want to go to Africa. You did not make me feel uncomfortable. You did not make me want to not have black blood in me. Where the other 4 people, one was in one was in high school, who told me that I would get killed as soon as I got off the plane in Africa because they don't like half-breeds, yet we both have curly hair. He was darker than me, he was taller than me, but his hair was as curly as mine. This here is a lot of royal crown hair dressing, because I don't like curls. So, then there were 2 young people in college. I will leave their names off because they suck as human beings. They worked in the digital media lab alongside with Tubu. And Tubu, he was a bad motherfucker. But his 2 co-workers, one girl, one guy, and your names aren't worth mentioning, by the way, who straight told me, we don't like black people. We don't like black Americans. Yet you were going to a university on an exchange program where you have a school, but you don't like black people, but yet you have to deal with black people. And then they told me to my face, the only reason why we're helping you is because Bruce is the only black person that we like, and we will do what he tells us to do. But if you didn't know Bruce, and just because you know Will and the guy that was in charge at the time, because Gemma came in after that guy left, and I can't remember their names. Gemma's cool, Will's cool, but these 2 young students who were younger than me, but straight dicks, even the female, they straight told me to my face, and I respect them for that. But at the same time, they're just like, how could you do that? I didn't ask to be born black. And FYI, Africa sold my ancestors that were black into slavery. So, yeah, you can't get mad at me for something I didn't have control over when it was your people who sold our lower tribes into slavery. But history has it saying that white people came over to Africa in droves and just started beating people about the head and putting them in whips and chains and throwing them on a boat and that kind of stuff. There's some more to that. There's that shade of gray, which is the actual truth of it was blacks fighting blacks and putting them into slavery, as well as whites coming over and taking them in droves. With whatever agreements that were made, we will all truly never know because we weren't there. But the bottom line was that I've had a lot of reverse racism from black people. Now, another story, I was in Canada with the wheelchair basketball team that was from Trinidad. And, we were talking. And I asked them, and I said, so you guys, y'all from Trinidad, right? They said, yeah. And we met some Jamaicans. And they said, okay, so here's how this works. If you are Jamaican, Africa does not like you. If you are from Trinidad, Africa does not like you. If you are from Barbados, Africa does not like you. And it's like, but we're all the same color. And it's like, it doesn't fucking matter. Africa does not like you. It's like, well, I was told Africa doesn't like me because I'm mixed with Native American and white as well as black, and that I would never be accepted in Africa. And the guys from Jamaica got to giggling, and the guys from Trinidad got to giggling and said, dude, if you're not from Africa, Africa does not like you. And I was like, are you guys serious? And they said, well, as serious as Genghis Khan was in China, as serious as Kublai Khan was in China, as serious as Tiananmen Square, Africa does not like you. And this happened at a strip club, of all places. So I wasn't sure if it was like the alcohol, because they were all drinking. I was just there for the boobs. But when we were having this conversation, and I'm like, they can't be serious. So when the next day came, I asked them again. I said, do you guys remember anything we talked about at the bar last night? And they came right back at me. Dude, we told you this shit last night. We're going to tell you this shit one more time. If you're not African, African doesn't like you. And I was like, how do y'all know this? I've been from Jamaica, man. I went to Africa. Africa does not want me there. The Africans were very adamant on they're not liking us Jamaicans. I've met Africans. They don't like us Jamaicans. And I'm like, I thought this guy was drunk as fuck last night, but obviously he holds his liquor very well. And so then I talked to the guy from Trinidad, and he pointed right back to the Jamaican guy. He says, everything that guy tells you, I went through it because I'm from Trinidad. He's on our team. He's on loan from Jamaica to us. But we have gone to Africa. We have played with Africans in wheelchair basketball, and they fucking don't like us. Stop asking us this shit, kid. The Africans do not like you. They do not like us. Even though we're all from the same American Geno and Black Geno and all the other slave nations, if you are not from Africa, if you were not born in Africa, if you don't live in Africa, if you're not married to an African woman, and even if you are, they still don't like you. And right then and there, I got that dose of reality that said, God damn, that kid from high school was right all this time. And I was like, wow. So I'm like 25, 26 at the time. And I'm like, damn, I thought that was just bullshit. No. But apparently, it's only some Africans. Because the guys I named at the beginning, those 4 African gentlemen are the best that Africa has to offer. They were not racist to me because of me being mixed. They were straight with me all the time. They were my friends. They're still my friends. If I could find them, I would gladly like to see how they're doing now. And, it was just that I had to learn this lesson. And it wasn't a lesson that I was really willing to learn because I'm one of those people. I know this sounds horrible, but I'm going to tell the truth. I'm one of those people that no matter what, I will try to look for the best in everybody first. And I'm not going to pass judgment even if I can't find the best in you, because everybody, you are who you are. But at the same time, you have to have that mutual line of respect. You have to have that. Or to quote The Rock, it is nice to be kind, but it is kinder to be nice, or however the hell he puts it. Here's my personal feelings. It is great to be honest. I will respect you more if I know where I stand versus not knowing when that knife's coming into my back. Because if you don't like me because of the color of my skin, that's horrible. If you don't like me because I'm an asshole, that's perfect. Because you're like, okay, well, James, honestly, I don't like you because you're an asshole. All right, cool. We can still work together, but when we leave, you go your way, I go my way, and that works for me. But if you're hating me because I'm mixed, or if you're hating me because I'm black or whatever, that it's just really fucked up, because there's nothing I can really do about that. I did have one more racist incident with an Asian girl that I used to work with. She's a very beautiful girl. I will leave her name out because I don't think she did it intentionally. I think she actually too. Actually, I think she did it because I was probably more Chinese than she was. So we worked together, and I looked out for her a little bit, even though she couldn't stand my ass. I looked out for her because she was like the boss's pet, and the boss is like slightly kin to me by marriage. So I definitely looked out for her, and because I liked her. I liked her a lot. I really liked her. I had a crush on her, but I kept that to my secret because you can't like work with someone that you have a crush on and try to keep it away from them. So wherever she is, her name starts with an H. We're good. So her last name starts with a Q. She's probably married with children by now, and I hope she's happy wherever she is. So we were at work one time, and I don't know what happened, but we had a falling out because of something. And I told her, well, that's actually not Chinese tradition. And she was kind of mad because I knew something about her people that she didn't know. And she said something, and I said, look, I'm not trying to be an asshole about us. It's just not Chinese tradition. She's like, how would you know? I said, well, I do kung fu for one. And she's like, oh, okay. That explains everything. That explains you. I was like, well, in most Chinese traditional families, if your traditional family is a martial artist, then you would know this. It's like, well, I'm a girl. And I said, all the more reason why you should know this. Because my kung fu that I do was based on a female martial artist, the best female of all time. Sorry, not Mulan, Wing Chun. Anyway, so she and I really didn't get along too well until after the boss left, and then after the boss left, or before the boss left, they left about the same time because she said, if the boss is leaving, then I'm leaving. I'm not going to work with a new person. And that was cool. And I wish her well. And, we were better after an incident that happened where people were asking her stuff. Young black people were asking her stuff, and she didn't understand it. So I said, I need to talk to you after they all leave. And she let me talk to her. I said, look, I'm going to look out for you. Even though you can't stand me, I'm going to look out for you because there's a lot of things that you don't know that even if you hang with black people and you're Asian, you still just don't know. It's the same thing with me. Even though I hang with Asians, there's some shit that I'm just not going to know. I said, when young men are asking you if you're giving up the skins, they're asking you if you're having sex. And the best way for you to protect yourself is either to tell them yes, you have a boyfriend, or tell them no, you're a virgin and you're not looking into that right now. You're focusing on your education. So she took my advice, and after that, we didn't have any more problems because I told her, look, I'm not gonna let that happen to you while I'm here. On my watch, I'm gonna watch out for you. And I didn't tell her that it was because I liked her. I just didn't want nothing to happen to her. That was before my boy Yoko came to work with me, because by the time Yoko got there, and he's the African, by the time he got there, she was long gone. But one of the two guys was still working there, and then they all left. And I'm leaving their names out because I like them too. And it was a fun time. And then the other incident happened when I worked at TJ Maxx. I believe the young lady is a manager, and she was Filipino, and apparently I was more Asian than she is too. And I actually had a crush on her too, and I actually tried to date her, but she wouldn't let me date her because of work fraternization. I was like, oh, don't worry about that. I'm only here one day a week, and I am not clingy. She's like, yeah, you're just not my type. What she meant to say was, I don't date men who are more Asian than me. That's pretty much how I took that. She did not like me, which would have been better for her to say, I just don't like you. But her and the manager that got my ass fired, thanks to John, went out of their way to make sure that I was fired. So they found the loophole to get rid of me, and I haven't been able to go back to work for TJ Maxx or Marshalls. And the sad part is that I really liked my job at TJ Maxx. I really, really liked that damn job. I'm unloading the truck. I'm in the back. I can't get in trouble in the back. And it was a fun time. And, at the time I had just lost my girlfriend, so I was good, and I just got into the Army and just came back from the Army and got my honorable discharge and everything, and they had to keep my job, and then John offered me a job, and then John reneged on the job, and they had forced me to put in my 2 weeks at TJ Maxx, and I didn't do it on paper, so that was their way of double fucking me. The manager who gave me the job and her. Because once they got to know me, they clearly didn't like the fact that I tell the truth. No one likes a truth teller, people. But outside of that, I've had more reverse racism than racism from Asians and whites. As I end this video, I want you guys to understand it. You know, reverse racism is a thing. And especially when you're mixed, you'll get it from all sides. I got it from all sides. Sadly, mostly I got it from people of color, which mean black people versus white people versus Asian people. And with black people, the lighter the skin, the more they dig in because, you know, you're not a real nigga, you're a half nigga, you're high yellow and light brown, excuse me for belching in your face. So we don't really want you with us because, you know, you're mixed, you have curly hair, you're culturally diverse. You never get the handshake right. That part's true. I never get the handshake right. Because, you know, y'all gotta complicate the fucking shit. You know, you got backhand, you know. When I was younger, it was give me five on the black side, up high, down low, too slow. And now it was like so many different complicated ass handshakes. And I like to say that it's probably because the white in me can't keep up. It could be because the Asian in me is just not mathematical sound to remember what the hell you just did. And the black in me is just too cool for school to even try to figure that shit out. So when you guys see all these teachers and they're coming up with all these and all this shit, man, me and the teacher would just have to shake hands or fist bump, elbow, high five, whatever. Because if we got to do this, spin in a circle, and patty cake and all that, I'm gonna die. And I'll probably get an F if we were getting graded for that. But thanks for watching. This is Come Forever number 2, B, C, and U. And please, let's stop being racist towards each other.